Let's shift our focus to the big debate that we are having at this point of time. It is yet again Pakistan, in a shocking development, gone ahead and stooped to a further low in its bid to attack against the minorities of the country. And this time around, it has taken away yet another right of the Sikh community. Pakistan has snatched away the management of Gurdwaras from Pakistan Sikh Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee and the Pakistani Ministry of Religious Affairs on November 3rd, that is yesterday, the day before yesterday, in fact, officially took over total control of the Gurdwara Darbar Sahib at Kartarpur in Punjab's Narowal district from the Prabandhak Committee over here. There has been a lot of protests that have been going across. Shiromani Akali Dal has been making a lot of noise about it. The Ministry of External Affairs has also gone ahead and issued a very stringent, strong statement talking about the sensibilities of the Hindu community, sensibility of the religious communities that are of minority nature in Pakistan, yet again being targeted by the Imran Khan government. Let's go ahead and discuss this in greater detail and dissect the move that comes in, the latest one, to hurt the minorities. And this obviously is hurting the minority. Their rights are under the jeopardy, and human rights again being called on over here. And let me also, let's loop in Sumit Peer over here. And Sumit, shocking, I don't know if it's shocking or the lack of it. There have been attacks that have been done on a number of minority communities, religious establishments, be the churches, the gurdwaras, and this time around they have gone next step and taken complete control of the Gurdwara Trust. How this is what is blasphemy, instead of what is happening in France, where they go ahead and call it freedom of expression to create those cartoons and speak about them, and then they and the Pakistanis and the Islamists and the radicals go about culling people, beheading people, just for no rhyme and reason, calling it a jihadi agenda, calling it the cleansing of those who are picking up a row against the Prophet Muhammad.
I think, Megha, first of all, thanks for having me on your show. Look, what is happening in Pakistan is what Pakistan does its best. Oppression of minorities. From 9%, now the minorities are less than 1%. Sri Lahore Sahib was the epicenter of Sikhism. For around 150,000 Sikhs which were there at the time of partition, now they are reduced to less than 4,000. Where have others evaporated or disappeared? That is point number one. We have seen the horrific incident of Nankana Sahib. Yeah. Then they wanted to show us this, Kartarpur corridor was done for good faith, for belief in religion and all. Now they want to take this Kartarpur, control of Kartarpur Sahib from the Sikhs. And they have given it to a trust which has to be a self-funded and profitable trust. That means the maintenance and all will only have if that trust is able to make money. So in a way, you are sending a message, if there are enough money in the system, we'll keep the lights on, we'll keep the water running and all. This is an attack on Sikhism. This is an attack on Indian Sikhs, Pakistani Sikhs.
Yes, absolutely, an attack and a blatant one in that. But let's also not forget, when the Kartarpur corridor, that deal was being signed and that was being opened up, there was a lot of dilly-dallying that was being created by the Pakistani administration over there. After they went ahead and showcasing as if, they've done us a big service over there. They're granting us that Kartarpur corridor, which is the rightful position that needs to be granted to the Sikhs that live in both sides of the border. And because of the 1947 division that happened, that does not disallow them, that does not bring about a deficit with regards to going ahead and praying to the religious shrine where Guru Nanak Dev Ji was born. So that's the very sacred shrine of it. And Deep Karni from the Shiromani Akali Dal also joins me in the broadcast. Your resentment and protest is justified, sir. If you could share and go ahead and talk to us about the sentiments especially that have been heard of the Sikhs, who have been obviously time and again asking for opening of the Kartarpur corridor. And this time around, Pakistan has taken yet another pot shot, yet again taken up this particular time and incident of place to rake up another issue, just because they possibly can do it and want to just try to needle India and poke India in the wrong side.
Actually, Megha, it was a game plan of Pakistan. I think so. देखिए, जब से ये पाकिस्तान का ये फेयर शुरू हुआ है, जो मिस्टर सिद्धू के होते हुए जो शुरू हुआ था, उसके बाद जो भी टाइम टू टाइम पाकिस्तान ने ऐसी बातें करनी शुरू की है कि पहले तो उन्होंने ये काम शुरू किया, चाहे वो उसमें पाकिस्तान की आर्मी इन्वॉल्व थी, जैसे मिस्टर बाजवा के ऊपर एलिगेशन लग रहे थे कि उन्होंने मिस्टर सिद्धू के काम में ये बताया। चलो ये बातें छोड़े, मैं ये कहता हूं कि पाकिस्तान का हमेशा एक एजेंडा रहा है, वो चाहते हैं कि मिनॉरिटी कम्युनिटीज को खत्म करके टोटली इस्लामिक स्टेट है, जो वैसे भी इस्लामिक स्टेट बनी हुई है, वो बिल्कुल वहां से सफाया करना चाहते हैं। जैसे जब तो सिखों के सेंटीमेंट्स को पूरी तरह से उन्होंने जीत के उन्होंने ये करतारपुर कॉरिडोर खोला, और जब ये करतारपुर कॉरिडोर स्टार्ट हुआ उसके बाद धीरे धीरे आपने देखा होगा पैंडेमिक के टाइम पे जब सारी दुनिया बंद थी, सारे देशों में जाना आना बंद था, उन्होंने एक तीर तब ही मारा। वो सिख कम्युनिटी को कैसे ना कैसे वो उनको इमोशनली वो उनको ब्लैकमेल करना चाहते हैं। उन्होंने कहा कि हम जो करतारपुर कॉरिडोर है उसको खोलना चाहते हैं। अब रही बात ओनली ये सिख कम्युनिटी का मसला नहीं है, ये सारे का सारा मिनॉरिटी कम्युनिटी का मसला है। आपने देखा होगा कि आप आज के जो न्यूज़पेपर्स हैं उनमें मैं देख रहा था कि सिंध के एक मंदिर में 300 के करीब लोग, हिंदू लोग वहां पे अपनी पूजा वगैरह अर्चना कर रहे थे, और उन्होंने उस वक्त पे उस पर अटैक कर दिया। वो बड़ा मुश्किल से कुछ लोगों को बचाया गया, कुछ हट हुए। सो मैं ये समझता हूं कि ये पाकिस्तान जो कर रहा है, हमारी जो श्रोमणी गुरुद्वारा प्रबंधक कमेटी, हम चाहते हैं कि टोटल उसका प्रबंध है जो वो श्रोमणी गुरुद्वारा प्रबंधक कमेटी को दिया जाए, मगर वो नहीं देते तो कम से कम पाकिस्तान गुरुद्वारा प्रबंधक कमेटी को तो देना ही चाहिए। देखिए, मैं एक बात ये क्लियर कर देना चाहता हूं कि सिख धर्म में, पता नहीं आप ये वर्ड्स को कैसे डिस्क्राइब करोगे, दो वर्ड है रहत और मर्यादा, जो हर सिख के लिए ये फर्स्ट है, प्रायोरिटी है। आपको रहत और मर्यादा दोनों चीजें रखनी पड़ती है, और जो नॉन सिख है वो सिख धर्म की रहत और मर्यादा दोनों चीजों को नहीं रख सकता। सो इसलिए हमें बहुत बड़ा ये इतराज है। ये पहले ये मैं बिल्कुल क्लियर कहता हूं कि करतारपुर कॉरिडोर को खोलना सिखों की आस्था थी, मगर उनका एक गेम प्लान था।
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's bring in Sanjay Kapoor also on the broadcast. It was a game plan, a tried and tested one that had happened in the past as well. During the opening of the Kartarpur corridor, there was a lot of dilly-dallying that had happened. Again, we had been going ahead and speculating, Sanjay, that Pakistan is going to play a double game over here. There is going to be infiltration of terrorists via this Kartarpur corridor, and they are on the second hand going to go ahead and play on the Sikh sentiment. So it became a double whammy for India, but India went ahead and definitely, you know, decided to be in support of the Sikhs of our country. But this time around, Pakistan is hit us below the belt.
I'm not very sure about all the assertions that you made. We must also recognize that India is not, we are not stupid people. How can anybody push terrorists through Kartarpur? We have a very strong intelligence network, we have satellites, we are a regional power, if not more. Pakistan may try to do whatever, but it doesn't mean that they would succeed. And we got into the entire Kartarpur corridor with open eyes, and Pakistan in a certain way stumped us by offering that, you know, Kartarpur corridor should be open. And even now, I don't know whether Indians are allowed to go to Kartarpur because of the pandemic protocol. But the truth is that, you know, they scored a propaganda victory of sorts by allowing Indians to get in. Indians have been a bit taken aback by this. But I don't think there are fears stemming out of security, because we have a very formidable security force. Our intelligence is very good. And I don't know whether the pilgrims can be infiltrated into India. And there's so much of security at the border. So I'm not very sure on this count. But having said that, you are talking about, I can see many objections being raised from my fellow panelists. I'm sure I would stop here and allow them to answer, then I can come back here.
Okay, all right. A.K. Sivaj also joins me on the broadcast. A.K. Sivaj, obviously make your point. What I was trying to go ahead and build upon was the fact that during several other times when those religious processions have happened, where a number of Sikh religious minorities who had traveled from India to Pakistan to pay their homage during those very sacred, important days in the Gurdwaras in Pakistan. There has been a continuous systematic propaganda that has been raised by Pakistan. Now there would be these posters of Khalistan that would be surrounded over there in the last 2 years, last 3 years that has happened, and we have witnessed that. There were high commissioners from the Indian side that would be stopped just to degrade us, just to bring about this, showcase this to us. So this is a game ploy that is played by Pakistan time and again, and they are very efficient at it. They've mastered this particular art, and this time it's no different. And let's why just speak about the Sikh shrines? Let's also talk about a number of these temples that are desecrated, that are demolished by the Pakistanis. There are these inquiries that are made, but nothing conclusive really comes out of it. How do we go ahead and deal with this latest salvo that has been hit by Pakistan on India?
Megha, absolutely correct. See, the point today is that remember that when India-Pakistan got separated in 1947, there was more than a 20% minority community there in Pakistan, basically Sikhs and Hindus and some Christians. But today it is shrunk to almost 1 to 2%. Because where are they gone? They have basically either converted or they have been killed. So these are the only two things. So this shows...
They have to come to India, sir.
Yeah, they have
to come to India. That is what partition is all about.
Yeah.
No. I am not talking about the one which came. I am talking about those who were left were also a sizable number. Over a period of time, they have been converted into a Muslim or they have been killed. This is a ground reality. The minority community in Pakistan is badly treated. Now, as far as this issue is concerned, that as Pakistan is no friend of Sikh, whatever they have done in Kartarpur, they had an agenda in their mind. Remember, they know it, that the referendum 2020 was to take place in November, now maybe slightly postponed. The Sikh for Justice, the body which is conducting this, majority of the their leaders are in Pakistan. They want that maximum people should vote for a freedom of Pakistan or Khalistan. So the issue is that everything was kept in mind, and they were trying to radicalize the youth which were going, even in Nankana Sahib, there were anti-India slogans which were spoken.
Right, absolutely.
This may looks to be innocuous to start with, that we have got a system which we can look after. That is a different thing. But the game plan in Pakistan is that any religious place which is there, or a Hindu or a Sikh religious place in Pakistan, they're trying to now radicalize those who are going anti-India propaganda. This is their side. As to what do we respond, that is our way of handling. We are well alert, we know it, this is bound to happen. When this corridor opened on 9th November 2019, we knew it. The security agency knew what is the true color of Pakistan. Why have they opened it? Are they really Messiah of Sikh? No, they had their own agenda, and that's why we should be very clear. Now what they have done is, from the Pakistan Sikh Gurdwara Pradhan Committee, they have now given it to trust, the trust which looks after all others, Gurdwaras and temples, because a lot of money is coming now. They don't want that money to be handled by this. They want this money to also come, and their sole aim is as to make use of this opportunity and try to fan anti-India sentiment.
Okay, all right. And then they've been very successful at doing that. And Deep Dani, you want to make a point, a quick comment, and then I'll go to Sumit Peer. Deep Dani ji, बोलिए.
Yes. देखिए मैं आपको एक बात बताना चाहता हूं. आप इन सारे इंसिडेंट्स जो हुए पिछले टाइम में, ये करतारपुर कॉरिडोर को खोलने की जो प्रतिक्रिया स्टार्ट हुई, उसको आप धीरे धीरे जोड़ने की कोशिश कीजिए. देखिए, कोई भी काम होता है वो प्रोटोकॉल से होता है, और दोनों कंट्रीज के जो दोनों तरफ से डिप्लोमेट्स होते हैं, उस तरफ से होता है. ये बात स्टार्ट कैसे हुई? बात ऐसे स्टार्ट हुई कि मिस्टर सिद्धू वहां गए, और वहां पे जो स्टार्ट की वो मिलिट्री की तरफ से हुई. देखिए, आप इसको जोड़ने की कोशिश कीजिए कि ये गेम प्लान उनका क्या था. देखिए, बिल्कुल ये सही बात कह रहे हैं कि 1950 का जो उनकी जनगणना है, उसमें तकरीबन 9 पॉइंट के ऊपर थी जो माइनॉरिटी कम्युनिटी की, वहां पे रेशो थी। अब वो 1.5 है जो वो रही हुई है। तो गेम प्लान तो उनका है बिल्कुल, वो धीरे धीरे वो इसको खत्म करना चाहते हैं। मैं ये समझता हूं कि देखिए एक बात इन्होंने कहा, मैंने भी पहले ये कहा था कि एक रहत और मर्यादा जो है नॉन सिख नहीं कर सकता, मगर मुझे जो पाकिस्तान गुरुद्वारा प्रबंधक कमेटी है वो भी उनके हाथों में ही खेल रही है। मैं पिछली बार वहां पे गया था पाकिस्तान में।
दीप जी, आपने you made your point and you're reiterating it yet again. Yes, so but my next question is going to be to Sumit. Sumit, so how do we handle it maturely? We have obviously gone ahead and cut off all sort of communication with Pakistan, and every single time we are raising, every single time Pakistan goes ahead and raises this anti-India chant in the international community also, we have gone ahead and ensured that only our junior ministers are responding to it. We have completely washed our hands off what Pakistan has to say and do and everything, and this has been playing effectively. But at this point of time, how do we tackle this very sensitive issue, especially with regards to the sensitivities of a religious community?
I think Megha ji, I'll start from where Garni Saab left. You see, this Kartarpur Sahib opening was more of a plan. I'm repeating, plan of ISI and Pakistan military more than the Sikhs of India. They were interested somehow, Bajwa and Shoaib Pasha, to open it somehow. And he is right when Sidhu ji facilitated all this. Now, the day we opened it, we know the sentiments of our Sikh brothers are paramount. But we also know it's a very rogue and a dirty state where ISI and non-state actors run everything. Now, the first step I see here, at the time of COVID, they offered us to send our Sikh brothers there, possibly to get them infected. Now what they're doing, how do I know these people who are replacing the Sikh Gurdwara Management Committee are not agents of ISI? How do I know this is not outsourced to a division of ISI who will infiltrate that trust? Because they're all Muslims, right? They're all Pakistani Muslims who will infiltrate restaurant and try to run Kartarpur Sahib. Now the security of people going there is the issue. Physical security, and how do you win when they could do an abduction in Nankana Sahib, when they can pick up the daughter of Granthi Sahib? What do you expect from such a country? From 1.5 lakh Sikhs today, they are not even 4,000 Sikhs. Where did the Sikhs disappear? In such a country, we have to handle it very carefully. We have to see national security. We have to see security of our brothers and sisters traveling there. Then the sentiment. Agar hum sabko milayenge, there will be a problem. So see national security, see the security of our brothers and sisters going there, and the sentiment. Pakistan is trying very, very hard to merge the three so that ISI's game plan regarding Kartarpur Sahib becomes very, very easy. But we will not let them win. We are a very matured community. Our Sikh brothers are very matured. They can see through us. I appreciate Darni's point of view here, and I think in the last debate also he took the same stand. And you know, that is why we could foil their attempt to open Kartarpur Sahib in the peak of pandemic. जब आपका सब कुछ बंद है, आप यही क्यों खोल रहे हैं? आपको क्या मतलब जो बंदा यहाँ से मत्था टेकने जा रहा है, आप उसको कोविड देके भेजना चाहते हैं? Have you fallen so low in your life? I mean, this is what the Pakistan has come to. You are only 4,000 left. All right. You're not still satisfied with your, death and destruction.
Okay, so those are one things. Attack on the minority communities is one thing. But Sanjay, come in over here. Diplomatically, all ties that have been strained at this point of time, we are not going ahead and speaking with our Pakistani counterparts over here. They have been trying to bring about some sort of a destruction by way of utilizing international media, by utilizing international fora. This again a very sensitive issue. Our minorities have been reduced to, like they said, 1.2%. There have been abductions, there have been killings, there have been forced marriages. There was this Granthi's daughter that was abducted in broad daylight. That gave a very, very strong message, because you were going ahead allowing a person to not just any particular person of Sikh origin, but somebody who, the Granthi's daughter, that is somebody who is of the Karta Dharta of a Gurdwara. So that's a hardline message that is being communicated by the Pakistani, saying that look, we are going ahead and doing this, we are going ahead and doing it under your nose, do whatever you can do. So again, simply because Pakistan can't really go ahead and forge a fight with us, because they are going to lose every single time that they have lost in the past 70 years and more. So this is the kind of low stooping that they end up to.
There are many things that you've asked in this long question. So I would first of all say that This is Kartarpur Sahib is celebrating its first anniversary, the opening in the next few days. And if you remember, last year on November 9th, 2019, the entire Kartarpur corridor was flagged off by a Prime Minister. I remember his very majestic photograph. He was wearing a turban and he flagged off a Jatha of 500 people. So in a certain way, we must not forget history and even recent events by trashing whatever has happened from a certain spectacle. PM had blessed the Kartarpur corridor. There may be some security misgiving, but he was strong enough to say that we will go through this entire thing despite the misgiving to the security, because security objects to everything. They want nothing to be done. And if you ask any intelligence report coming out on any aspect, they would say that there's always a threat. I have seen army conduct itself. They are very cautious people. They don't want any kind of harm to visit, but they are supremely cautious. And that is why the Prime Minister took his own decision and decided that Kartarpur Sahib corridor should be opened. Secondly,
Yeah,
I entirely agree with you that minorities have been savage. They have been, in a certain way treated very shabbily. I have been to Pakistan. I have written about it quite a bit. I know women who are forcibly converted, especially in Sindh, and there are Maulvis who get a lot of money by converting these nubile girls, and the trauma that they have to go through. And there are civil society organizations in Pakistan which are also fighting against this particular trend that we see of abduction of these young Hindu girls and converting them. So that is a problem which I think is the problem of Pakistan's deeply narrow Wahhabi instincts which are prevailing. They think that it has to be Sunni Wahhabi country rather than allowing even the Shias or Ahmadiyas and Christians and others to stay. So I think Pakistan's civil society is also deeply disturbed because they are impatient lot, the Wahhabis who have taken over, and they have no space for anybody. So that is their internal problem. We have to worry about how that the state is imploding. And the third thing that you said is that that Pakistan is, in a certain way losing legitimacy. Yes, it has, because of what has happened in the last so many years. And there is no faith in whatever promises, although they have revived a few temples in near Islamabad. They have done that, the very famous temple. A few more temples have also been for public consumption. But on the ground, there is a great amount of violence which is unleashed against any kind of minority, you can say temple or the Gurudwara or whatever. And we'll keep hearing that, it's a society in deep turmoil. So
it's a society in deep turmoil, but it's also going ahead and replicating. What China is doing is nothing different. And let me also bring in A.K. Siwach on this. The Sinicization of the mosques, the churches in China are reminiscent of what is happening in Pakistan, are reminiscent of what is happening in Turkey, and the kind of sentiments that are being evoked by all these leaders, all these radical leaders, and what has happened in France is just one small example, or just right now scraping this. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And how do we exactly tackle this entire violent trend that is obviously Islamicization, Sinicization? These are radical leaders. How do we take a control of that? And it looks like that there is going to be the European nations that are coming together. India has had to face this for 70 years and more. We have been crying hoarse about this. The world is now at once taking a notice of it. United States had to go ahead and pay a very heavy price with the 9/11 attacks that had happened, and it has taken a stand over there. UK a similar fashion. France is now going ahead and waking up to this. Vienna, we took a look at those attacks in Austria. So the world is now waking up to it slowly and steadily. We had been crying hoarse about it. We had been repeating and reiterating, but now it seems like the world has started to understand this Islamicization or the new world order that Imran Khan and Tayyip Erdogan, they all want to bring about, collude together and bring about it. So how do we go ahead and further facilitate the ending of this entire charade that is being played out?
Megha, this is a very, very difficult situation. In fact, what has happened in Europe is over a period of time, the immigration policy, which was very soft, allowed a number of people from Syria, Libya, those were also become a member of Islamic State, Al-Qaeda. They also infiltrated in Europe over a period of time. And today the Europe has got a big problem because Europe is well connected with each other. Their borders are porous, and now what happened in Austria, what happened in France is just you can say a reflection what is likely to happen in Europe in coming days. You know, the fundamentalism, Islamization which has taken place in these countries is a cause of concern for the whole world. Remember, in France, the population of Muslim is about 9% and more, and they are staying in clusters, they are staying outside the cities, they are slightly uneducated and not having so many privileges. They are now start adjusting themselves, and the fundamentalism is increasing in these places, and it is spreading from one country to another. So the point today, what is happening is people like Erdogan, you know, the president of Turkey is making use of such situation because he wants to become a champion of Islam, and he wants to now sort of challenge the authority of Saudi Arabia. He got a very good chance to now come as a Khalifa leader. So he is igniting that, he is now sort of instigating them. So this, what is happening in France is, and Australia, is to happen because the Europe was very soft on immigration policy. Remember, after 2001, the US was very strong in their immigration policy, and they took certain measures. We need to follow that. We should take a lesson. And remember, in China, if the Turkey is so much bothered about the Muslim, what is happening in Xinjiang? You know, the Chinese are putting the Muslim in concentration camp and reformative. The world is quiet. No one is talking about them. But otherwise, the Turkey want to become a champion of Muslim. They are only creating a problem. A divide has been created in Europe, between Muslims and the rest of it, and it is all done by the fundamentalism. Islamic State has infiltrated, Al-Qaeda has infiltrated, and world has to unite to fight against this terrorism. Then only you can defeat them.
Okay, all right. Last words from Sumit, 30 seconds, and I'll have to rewind this up.
Mega ji, that Pakistan tried a dirty trick called Khalistan. It failed, and it failed miserably. Let Pakistanis know and remember this if they are watching this. If you try to raise 6 sentiments here and use Kartarpur for your political games, we have defeated you in the past, we are going to defeat you again. You will have a tomato and an egg on your face, and you will again curse your luck. Don't try this again. Don't try to play with our Sikh brothers.
Okay, all right. On that note, I will have to slip into a short break. I thank all my guests for joining me on the broadcast. Strong action, stern action needs to be taken this time around, not just by India, but the entire world needs to come together because the threat is global. I'll take a break, come right back because we're going ahead and discussing yet another very important issue, which is with regards to the line of actual control. And winter is now on, the onset of winters is here. The troops on both sides are preparing. It is going to be a long haul. Take a short break, come right back.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.